John Lennon was once asked if Ringo Starr was the best drummer in the world, and he replied he wasn't even the best drummer in the Beatles. Today, Sir Paul McCartney hoped to make his name as a painter, if not the best in the world, by putting his pictures on show in Britain for the first time. There's no John Lennon to dismiss them with a cute aside, although some critics have already taken on that task with gusto. Sir Paul has given his first full-length broadcast interview about his new direction to our arts correspondent.
You know, that sort of, and you go all white and throw up. So I just thought, well, okay, I'm going to stop, and this is called The Queen After Her First Cigarette. Mum.
As a child, McCartney loved to draw. At grammar school, he won an art prize. But unlike John Lennon, he didn't go to art school. It took him years to find the confidence to paint seriously.
I always felt that it was a problem because I felt like I wasn't allowed to paint. I felt like people who went to art college and people who'd been trained were the only real people who ought to be allowed. But the more I read about it, the more I realized that a lot of the people I liked hadn't necessarily been trained.
Through his wife, Linda, he met the American artist Willem de Kooning, and at the age of 40, a conversation with him changed everything.
I plucked up my courage, and at the risk of sounding stupid, I said, "Hey, Bill, what is it?" And I thought, oh, God, you don't ask that of these abstracts. But he was great. He just looked at it. He said, I don't know. He said, "Looks like a couch, huh?" And that one little expression, just the way he threw it out to me as to what it was, and the way he didn't really seem to care what it was very liberating. So I thought, that really takes care of a lot of my blocks about, oh, if you paint, it's got to be really significant. You've got to think for hours about what it is you do. It's got to come from a deep place. He seemed to just enjoy the paint.
The influence is obvious. McCartney's guiding principle is spontaneity in whatever he creates.
I think most of the time people were also conditioned that you do what you think other people want you to do. And you play to them, as it were. And so in music, we started off like that. So all our early songs are sort of, "Thank you, girl, from me to you, P.S. I love you." And it's all really talking to the fans, trying to get them to buy the records. But then it moves into sort of Eleanor Rigby and whatever. It moves more into the art of it and the creativity. In music, I like to mess around until an idea arrives. And something like, for instance, in Day in the Life, the Beatles song, there's a big orchestral crescendo in the middle, which is made up of everybody starting on their lowest. The only instruction we gave them was to start on your lowest note on your instrument and eventually get to your highest, but in your own time, which meant it was a big swirling, maelstrom big thing, you know. And that kind of worked with sort of a big chaotic noise. So that kind of thing, finding that would work, you know, led me on to, you know, when I painted, thinking, yeah, that kind of thing will work in painting. from mates particularly, who'd never seen them. And also for people who liked what I did and wondered what I'd been up to in those 18 years.
The response that you've got has been mixed to your pictures. How have you dealt with that?
I get criticised musically, and I've been criticised for everything I've ever done. Some of the most successful stuff I've ever done in music was the worst criticised. So I don't really care what critics think. I'm sorry, lads, but I don't value you. And if I really want to do something, I've got a passion about it, I don't see why I shouldn't. And people may say that's just stupid, they may be ignorant, and just too innocent for words, but I really don't see why I should suppress a passion. What, for you? Or for somebody out there, you know, why? You sure you want to suppress me? I don't think you do, you know.
His pictures did please Linda. She told him early on they had a quality. He returned the compliment by painting her.
It was in the evening sometime, and I just suddenly got an urge to paint, you know, just like, oh, got to do it. And so she was sitting there, and I said, you okay if I paint you? You know, because you've got to keep still. She said, yeah, fine. She was a very good model. Kind of difficult to paint, I always thought, because she had such a character, strong character, that I always thought like I got a bit of her each time I painted her. But I never really got the very definitive picture, but there's always a little bit of something. I haven't really painted that much since she died, and anything I have near the event was kind of turmoil. So it wasn't really, I just got it out like you might to a psychiatrist, you know. I painted much more while she was alive, because she was a very good supporter of mine and would say, that's good, which would then move me on to the next step.
All you need is love. It's John Lennon, not McCartney, we think of as the artistic one. In the soon-to-be-published Beatles anthology, McCartney talks about how he was exploring the London art world before Lennon. So is his show, in truth, about proving he was a creative match?
Yeah, there is some of that to it, but the downside of that is that I could look like I'm saying, nah, I did it before him, which is not really what I'm trying to do. But I think because I never talked about it too much, and I just sort of got on with it, went to galleries, knew a lot of artists, I just did it and didn't say anything. When John finally did it with Yoko, he made a big thing of it.
John Lennon would have been 60 in 10 days' time. I asked Sir Paul what he thought he'd be like.
I personally think he would have just got greater and greater, and I think he'd be a writer. I think he would have written prose, because I saw some stuff that he wrote towards the end of his life. I thought it was really good. He was a very smart guy. He may well have taken up painting. Who knows, you know, he was very good, creative guy. I think he would have just got better and better.
What do you think John would think of your pictures?
Fucking great.